Cyril Gane, who's 6'5", 247 pounds, moves like a 170 pounder. He's bouncing like Wonderboy. Completely changed the standard of heavyweight striking.
Can Cyril Gane beat Tom
Aspinall versus Gane is a massive transitional fight for the heavyweight division. Now, you got to understand where we're at. And I'm a checkers player. When it comes to matchmaking, that is a unique skill and vision. But I will always go with low-hanging fruit. It's just the way my mind works. I take the biggest fight for right now.
You give him the one contender, Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane is somebody that's a big heavyweight, that's very agile. I don't think Tom Aspinall gets rid of him right away like he has with other people. And I think that'll be a big indication if John Jones wants to come back and reclaim that bout.
I think I match up pretty well against him. I think I'm equally as fast as him. I move equally as well. The difference is I can grapple. I've got a lot of power. And I think that's pretty undeniable at this stage of my career. I've got a lot of knockouts on my record, mate. I have to touch you once, and I wasn't even throwing heavy tonight. I thought it was going to be a 5-rounder. I didn't mean to knock him out. I was pretty sure that that was going to be a 5-round fight tonight, and just takes one shot, mate, at heavyweight especially.
Finally, we're back after over a year hiatus. Ciryl finally signed on the dotted line. This is the 4th time we've been matched up together, and now we are matched up for the 25th of October, Abu Dhabi, me and Ciryl. The 4th attempt is here, and this is Cyryl's 3rd title shot. We are going to try and get rid of Cyril Gane from the title picture for good.
Let's go!
Cyril Gane is, people forget how fantastic he is. A guy that can kind of float around the octagon, touch you, kick you, hit you with elbow. He's just a complete game. But man, Tom's movement, his boxing, speed, and his power, it's very, very difficult to doubt this man anymore.
We finally got Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane. Chill, we've been screaming about this Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane for a long time. UFC 321, Tom minus 325, Gane plus 260. We finally got the fight. But the world doesn't seem to believe, Chael, that it's a close fight. And I don't really agree with that line. I think this fight is much closer. Tom Aspinall minus 325, Cyril Gane plus 260.
Joe Rogan doesn't hand out compliments lightly, and when he talks about Cyril Gane moving like a 170 pounder, bouncing like Wonderboy, the whole conversation changes. That's the frame for this showdown. A heavyweight who glides like a welterweight versus a champion who hits like a truck but plans like a chess player. The hook is simple and sharp. Can Tom Aspinall walk through that kind of movement, or will Gane make the belt look out of reach by making him miss, reset, and hesitate? Rogan's line isn't hype. It's a reminder that style can bend reality at heavyweight when footwork does the talking and timing stays one beat ahead. Lock in the stakes. Tom Aspinall isn't just a puncher riding momentum. He's a measured finisher who doesn't waste moves or moments. Cyril Gane isn't just a slick striker. He's a heavyweight who can make big men look slow and ordinary. The stage is set in a place that loves big events. The calendar circled for a night built around speed meeting timing. Nobody gets to hide behind hype under that many eyes. When the cage door shuts, the only thing that matters is who can make their style translate when the other man refuses to cooperate. Gane's appeal is obvious even to casuals. Tall, springy, and unhurried, he glides into range and out of trouble like the canvas belongs to him. He's a rhythm fighter with feints that ask questions and counters that grade your answers. The mental tack shows up before the bruise. When he won't give you a still target, patience gets expensive, and burning patience is exactly how he pushes opponents into bad ideas. Chase him with your chin up and he'll tag you. Stand still too long and he'll score and slide away, making you pay in small cuts that add up round after round. Aspinall offers the antidote many think might finally stick. He moves well enough to meet Gane in those middle spaces, but he also carries the kind of force that turns movement into urgency. He doesn't need 5 rounds or a home run swing. Clean placement at the right moment is enough. His best weapon isn't just power, it's economy. Short punches, balanced steps, and eyes scanning for angles and exits to shut down make the violence look calm. If he can cut the cage instead of chasing, Gane's bounce becomes a path with fewer doors and more dead ends. Here's the hinge. If this becomes a long-range kickboxing match, Gane has logged more hours in that chair. He understands tempo, chooses targets well, and rarely overcommits. But the fight changes the instant it turns into mixed martial arts. Level changes off the jab, chain wrestling that demands instant decisions, and top pressure that punishes resets are the tools that can turn Gane's flow into static. That's where Aspinall's instincts matter most. He doesn't need to grind 15 minutes. He needs to win the moments that matter and turn them into minutes Gane can't get back. You can feel the veterans leaning forward. Some say this is the real test, the fight that shows whether Tom can impose himself on a mover who won't cooperate. Others say Gane has been underappreciated, that his footwork and timing are exactly what shut down a puncher who trusts his reactions a little too much. Both can be true at once. What decides it isn't reputation. It's how each man handles the second and third layer of trouble. If Tom lands clean early, does he chase too hard? If Ciryl gets red on the feints, does he switch rhythms or stubbornly keep the same beat? The division needs this answer. For too long, it has been a cloud of injuries, rumors, and what-ifs. A clean result resets the conversation from speculation to substance. If the champion stamps it, the belt feels anchored to a standard. Athletic, technical, and ruthless in the right moments. If the challenger snatches it, the belt becomes a hot potato again and opens doors to stylistic puzzles that keep everyone honest. Fans might argue about resumes, but they never argue with what happens on a night when someone's plan works in plain sight. Once the door shuts, watch the first 2 minutes like a coach. Gane will try to set a metronome with bouncing entries, long kicks, and a jab that lives close to Tom's eyes. He wants reach and rhythm. Aspinall must reject that frame. Take the center, use the jab as a measuring stick, not a scoreboard. Touch the lead hand, step outside the foot, and cut the lane. Every touch should move Gane a few inches closer to the fence, where exits narrow and choices get ugly. If Tom is walking him down without eating clean shots, the geometry is working. Then comes the layer that could decide it, grappling on Tom's terms. He doesn't need double leg fireworks. He needs committed clinches, trips against the barrier, and rides that make the clock his friend. Ground strikes do 2 jobs for him, damage and doubt. If Gane's first stand-up burns a minute and his second costs him a clean shot, the third makes him think, and the fourth can break his balance before it breaks his will. That's the kind of pressure that never looks dramatic in a single frame, but it wins the round and steals the air from a fighter who built his game on easy breathing. Of course, there's quiet danger on the other side. Ciryl might tune Tom up in space, carving the legs, touching the body, and jumping in and out before counters can fire. He can jab until the nose protests and kick until the stance erodes. If that happens, the champion will have to accept discomfort and risk more. That's where championship temperament shows. Do you swing bigger and get picked apart, or do you stay poised, trust the plan, and find the moment your corner keeps telling you is coming? Narratives will follow fast. If Tom wins too slowly, some will compare him to faster finishes from the past and talk about style points. If Gane wins clean, some will say movement beats muscle, and the division should prioritize matchups that reward technique. The real read sits between the lines. Footwork without consequence doesn't win titles, and power without setups doesn't hold them. Whoever marries patience to pressure, whoever turns small edges into big momentum, will own the night and the conversation that follows. Here's my map for viewers. Early, count Gane's body kicks. If they land in rhythm, he's comfortable. If they get smothered or countered, Tom is reading him. Watch Tom's lead hand. Is it touching, turning, and blinding Gane's entries, or just waving at air? Track the re-entries. Gane loves to exit clean and return before you reset. Champions break that habit by staying in stance and winning the next half beat with a stiff jab or a shoulder bump that says not yet, and pay attention to the fence. If Tom plants him at the logo and starts stacking positions, the spring in those legs will quietly disappear. And yes, the elephant always circles back. People will wonder what a dominant performance means outside this cage. Would a statement win bring certain names back into the conversation? Maybe, maybe not. Rumors and debates make good headlines, but they don't win exchanges. What actually matters is how this fight looks in the small moments. Who surrenders the center without a trade? Who bites on the feint? Who defends a takedown and loses posture anyway? Those snapshots are how eras begin, not a tweet storm after the fact. My read is simple. This isn't power versus movement, so much as pressure versus poise. Aspinall wins if he turns movement into mistakes. Little stalls he converts into takedowns or heavy touches that snowball into panic. Gane wins if he turns pressure into impatience, drawing rushes, punishing angles, and making Tom pick the wrong moment one too many times. The result will look obvious in hindsight, but live it will feel like a riddle with 2 right answers and no erasers. Either way, the division gets the answer it has been demanding. Whatever happens when they touch gloves, the story writes itself without hype. A technician who floats versus a champion who refuses to blink. Range against timing, finesse against force, composure against confrontation. The bell will not give either man a safe place to stand. One of them will force the other to live in discomfort long enough to make a mistake, and that single mistake, missed footwork, lazy hand return, slow underhook, wrong angle on a shot can determine everything. That's the truth underneath all the noise, and it's the reason nobody will be able to look away when the first exchange finally lands. And that's why this matchup grips everyone. It isn't just fists and feet, it's judgment under pressure. One man solves the puzzle first, and the other runs out of time. On nights like this, the sport reveals itself with ruthless, beautiful clarity.